Welcome on into Raw Thoughts. I'm your host, Josh Reese, and we have got to talk about Monday Night Raw from October 2nd. It was not the greatest of Monday Night Raws, but if you are a Shield fan, which I know a lot of people are, I guess this is the beginning of something that could be very magical. So there wasn't too much action on Monday Night Raw. At least that was very exciting. But the biggest thing of the entire night, I guess, was at the end of the night when the Shield all kind of stood together as Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins joined Roman Reigns in the locker room, and it kind of faded out. That was the last moments of Monday Night Raw, was that picture right there. As you began to see them three coming together once again. I know Roman Reigns the other week was like, nah, Seth and Dean, they've got their own stuff going on. I've got my own stuff right now, but after this Raw, it looks like the Shield reunion could be happening. I will say, if the WWE teases this and ends up not doing it, fans will lose their shit. So I do think this is something that will happen. And the crux of this was, again, the Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, keep on screwing over Seth and Dean. And now with The Miz also kind of getting into this, it kind of brings the three full circle. So Monday night started off with Braun Strowman, the monster among men, fighting Seth Rollins. And after a pretty entertaining match, Seth Rollins, of course, loses to Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman continues to beat the crap out of Seth Rollins. And after he is done, Dean Ambrose comes in the ring to try to help out Seth. And Dean Ambrose gets beat down. And after Braun leaves, we have Sheamus and Cesaro to come back in and both hit finishers on him and leave them both in the ring. So later on in the night, we have The Miz taking on Roman Reigns, and of course, in epic fashion, Roman Reigns beats down the Miztourage, Bo Dallas, and Curtis Axel, and I'm surprised he wasn't disqualified or whatever, but it is for the match he wasn't disqualified, for the storyline, but I guess he probably should have been disqualified. Probably. He really should have been disqualified. But anyways, so Roman Reigns eliminates the Miztourage, which I cannot believe no one has done before. If you want to beat The Miz can't win by himself. He needs the Miztourage, so you got to beat the bejesus out of him. So he did that. Miztourage is gone. The Miz has a really good match with Roman Reigns. And even The Miz is allowed to kick out of a few Superman punches. Didn't kick out of a spear, but he kicked out of a few Superman punches and had a couple really close pinfalls. And of course, Roman Reigns wins via disqualification as the Bar hops the fence and helps The Miz beat down Roman Reigns, and and all three of them end up doing their finishers on Roman Reigns, and they leave the ring only to come back into the ring and do the Shield fists, which leads me to believe that we could be seeing Sheamus and Cesaro and The Miz versus the Shield. Because to be honest, the Miztourage versus the Shield, not very exciting. But at least the Shield versus Sheamus and Cesaro and The Miz, that's a little bit more believable of a storyline. So next week, they already mentioned that the Bar was going to be on Miz TV, so we could see them get together, and of course, the Shield will more than likely interrupt that. But it was very cool to see. I'm starting to really enjoy this feud. I've been kind of over Sheamus and Cesaro versus Dean and Seth, but now since this new added angle, I'm a little bit more intrigued by it. So that was interesting to me. The other big, ginormous thing that I guess you could say that happened on Monday Night Raw, although I feel like this is a massive tease. Bray Wyatt officially announced that Sister Abigail is alive. And she is dying to meet Finn. Although, I think, like always, this is not going to end up being Sister Abigail. I don't know. Maybe this is like another side of Bray Wyatt. Maybe he's going to come out in face paint. I'm not really sure. But for whatever reason, they have teased Sister Abigail a bunch, but she has never come out. Although this is the first time, at least that I can remember, that he has uttered the words, Sister Abigail's alive. So I am interested to see how this plays off, because in my mind, I really, really am hoping that we finally see Sister Abigail. But I just know in my heart that it's not going to be true. To be honest, without the Wyatt family, what's the purpose of having Sister Abigail in besides Bray Wyatt? I don't really know. So I'm hopeful for this, but at the same time, I know it's not going to happen. And I'm really interested to see how they're going to turn this into Finn Balor fighting Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series, because he seems to be stuck with Bray Wyatt for a while. And I kind of figured it would be over. After 2 wins for Finn Balor, he should be moving on past Bray Wyatt, but he has not yet. He's still stuck in Bray Wyatt land. So that was the 2 big things that happened on Monday Night Raw. The other, I guess, notable thing that happened on Monday Night Raw was Enzo Amore, for the second week, had the main event slot on Monday Night Raw. He comes out and talks crap to the cruiserweights, telling them they're trash, and they were nothing before Enzo Amore. And he has not only another clause, so everyone that beat up Enzo Amore last week cannot fight Enzo Amore for the championship. So that's acceptable. Now Enzo Amore has another clause from Kurt Angle that says if anybody touches him, that they will be fired. They will be fired. So, of course, the cruiserweights come to the ring. Enzo Amore, goes around and starts, making fun of every single one of the cruiserweights. He kind of says what we all are thinking. Even though we all know that Enzo Amore is a douchebag, he's not wrong with a lot of the things that he says. He's just a douchebag when he says them. We're allowed to internalize those thoughts. But once you bring those thoughts out into reality, you're a douchebag. And Enzo Amore is, of course, a douchebag. So Kurt Angle ends up coming out and says, hey, of course I told you that if any one of those cruiserweights touch you, they will be fired. But I just signed a brand new cruiserweight. And I'm 100% honest. I was like, who the hell did he sign? Who did he sign that's now a cruiserweight? Chris Jericho? Is he coming back to the division? I'm all about that. Who is it? Did he sign some rando Ring of H guy that's coming back? Was there a guy in NXT that I wasn't particularly familiar with that's coming to 205 Live? No. Wrong on all of those. It was Kalisto all along. And I will be honest, I was shocked, mainly for... I'm not really entirely sure why Kalisto wasn't with the cruiserweights for the entire time since the start of the division. And also... Kalisto looks dumber than he looks before. I hate his new music. I know he's had that music for a while. But yeah, Kalisto looks pretty stupid. I know he's not part of the Luchas anymore. Is it with the Lucha Dragons? I can't really remember. I know he's not a part of that anymore, but I really missed... I was fine with that music. Now this is like some type of weird... it's almost like TJ Perkins type of level music, almost. It's pretty stupid. So Kalisto comes out and beats up Enzo Amore a little bit, and we have a new feud, I guess. Kalisto will more than likely be taking the belt off of Enzo Amore at TLC, I imagine. Hopefully this will be a lot better than Kalisto's last match with Baron Corbin at TLC, the chairs match. That was pretty rough. So if that's pretty much all I got, guys. There really wasn't that much interesting that happened on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, the Mickie James is gonna fight. Not Johnny Jack. She's gonna fight Alexa Bliss at TLC. That should be a boring match because this is just the feud that will get us to Asuka. So of course Alexa Bliss won't lose that match, but that honestly, that was pretty much it that I definitely want to talk about. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson beat Matt Hardy and Jason Jordan. Hopefully that's not going to be a new tag team that comes. We also had Sasha Banks and Bayley defeat Emma and Alexa Fox. Really not too much that happened outside of what I mentioned. So that was pretty much all I got. If you enjoyed this, please give it a like and a share. Share it with any other WWE fans you have out there. I would appreciate that. Also, subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done that yet. I would appreciate it. And lastly, let me know what your thoughts about this Monday Night Raw. Are you excited about Kalisto coming to the Cruiserweight division? Are you excited about Sister Abigail? Are you excited about the Shield? Was there anything that got your blood pumping from this episode of Monday Night Raw? That's what I want to hear. Let me know. Leave me a comment below. And with that, I'm going to bounce it out here. I appreciate everyone for giving Raw Thoughts a listen. And I've been your host, Josh Reitz, and we will be back. Oh, Lord. We will be back after SmackDown. So thank you, and we will talk to you soon.